Hey, this is Crystal from Homestead Odyssey. Today we are finally getting into our beehive. We haven't had a chance to check it all winter or spring, so we're taking kind of our first look into it after this hard winter that we've had. I'm a little worried that they've built a lot of burr comb up because they've had quite a while that they've been active, that we haven't been able to get in there and clean it out, but we'll just see when we get in there.
The top part on our beehive is a quilting box. We use the quilting box over the winter. It's filled with pine shavings and it has fabric along the bottom, which allows moisture that builds up over the winter to evaporate up to the top and collect in the pine shavings. This prevents the bees from freezing from the moisture that collects in the hive. The next portion of our beehive is a sugar frame. This is a small box that my husband made for us. It has metal wiring on the bottom of that box, and then we made sugar boards that are placed on top of that so the bees have access to sugar over the winter in case they don't have enough honey stores. I was actually really surprised when I opened this up. There was quite a bit of sugar still left on the sugar board, which is probably a good sign because that means they were able to survive mostly off of their own honey over the winter time. This part of the beehive is what is called a super. This is normally the honey that is saved for the beekeeper, but we have really long, cold winters here in Wyoming, and our bees filled up one of their brood chambers with honey, but we wanted to leave them a little bit extra honey just because it's so cold and it's so long until we get more flowers. So our bees had filled up this super with most of the way full of honey. And so we decided to leave it over winter with them. Some beekeepers won't do that because they worry about the bees struggling to keep the hive warm with the additional height. But with the insulation, we felt that it was better to give them more food than to take the chance that they would starve. Here, what I'm looking for is I'm checking the brood pattern. Brood are baby bees that are growing in the honeycomb. I'm also checking to see how much honey is left in the hive and if they have any pollen stored up. The pollen is used to feed the baby bees, and the honey obviously is used for food for them. The first couple frames that I looked at, there was a little bit of honey, a little bit of pollen, and the further in I got, I found a decent amount of brood. I didn't end up opening the hive completely because my smoker wasn't working, but I got a pretty good look to see that we have decent brood pattern, which means there's not a lot of holes where the queen is laying the eggs, and that there is actually still some honey left in the hive, which is a really great sign.
you.